that are following the opposition are basically Kenyans.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenyans who are honest with themselves, they are only people who are interested in moving their life forward. They are interested in who can be able to offer an alternative that is helpful to them. So it is not about how they will force the person they are following to become helpful to them. It's about how they will be able to analyze from what is on the table and find for themselves who is best suited for them. And that's why I'm feeling like the more they analyze this, the more results keep showing in subsequent by-elections. Because President Ruto has put himself in this position whereby, number one, just like Joachim says, he has an agenda that he's selling to the people. So when people look at him, it is so hard for you to disagree that he has not been able to employ over 100,000 teachers. It is so hard for you to disagree that he did not promise affordable housing and he has provided it. It is so hard for you to disagree that he did not find fertilizer at 7,500 and he has moved it to 2,500. It is so hard for you to disagree that he has not been able to mitigate on youth unemployment using the Nyota program and been able to do that so that young people can be able to get into business. It is difficult for you to disagree with that. Now, whereas when you are an opposition, the first job you have is how do you counter this with a better idea? If this is not an idea good enough, what is your better idea? And I think one of the things they got us wrong, maybe when we sit here with Joachim and Odhiambo and we keep saying they need an alternative plan, instead of getting an alternative plan, they made it a name. So they moved from United Opposition to United Alternative Government. We were not saying
the United Alternative Government. Oh, yeah,
yes.
Actually.
So instead of creating that alternative, they made it a name. So the first problem they have is how do you wrestle a government without you having better ideas? Kenyans are not buying the narrative of it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. It worked before. Today, the Kenyan is not thinking like that. Number two, it's about the political optical value. Because Kenyans, I argue that almost all Kenyans have a DNA of being politicians. So all Kenyans are sitting and looking and asking themselves, how ready are we for this election? They're able to see UDA have a meeting of 15,000 aspirants. They're able to see UDA and President Ruto going to Nyeri and having a meeting with about 17,000 grassroots leaders. So they're able to look at it and feel like, wait a minute, these guys are actually looking like they have a plan on what is actually going to happen in these elections. So these are the things that opposition is not doing, but unfortunately, instead of addressing the matter, they are burying their heads in the sand. If you ask me, the only person who seems to have a semblance of an agenda among all these, unfortunately, he's not a cornerstone United Opposition member, is Jimmy. Because he's speaking about matters debt, which are true, and he seems to have some solution to it. The only problem is that probably he's not shouting from the rooftop as loud as he needs to, but he seems to have something. But when I look at the United Opposition, Jagero, I have never had them coming up with anything, and it's so difficult to campaign against.
They were in Kisii for 3 days. What did you pick from what they were doing there?
Nothing much, and that is if I'm being extremely modest, because if I go into deep rhetoric, I'll be able to tell you that all I saw in Kisii was now an escalation from tribal politics to I don't know what you would be calling when you want to put people against other communities. I don't know what that is called, because I saw Rigathi saying munapigia muindi kura. Now you see that is quite an escalation. I was not able to see what message do they have, and every place that they have gone.
For Matiang'i.
They were making Matiang'i spokesperson, but I didn't see him speak on anything. So I did not see
spokesperson for what?
For the Abagusi community. So when you are entrusted in such
yes, you don't know Kisii
So when you are entrusted in such Jagero, you must be able to come out and people must be able to look and say, look here, in Kisii, this was the agenda. This is what we are selling. Nothing. Now, you go back to Nakuru today, all it's insults between who and Susan Kihika has done this and the president has done this. It's the normal things that the opposition does and mobilization and all that. Now, I look at it, even their newest sense of hope, who is Joachim's friend, and he'll not be happy when I mention him, EDWIN SIFUNA. when pushed to the point of an agenda.
I was so disappointed with SIFUNA and Babu Owino.
Where?
Again,
First of all, let me start with Babu Owino.
but can I finish what I was saying?
Mimi nitakupea nafasi sahi. Mimi sitakaa kama Joakim. But I was very disappointed with SIFUNA and Babu Owino. Number one.
Yes.
Babu Owino has been given prime time news.
Yes.
At 9.
Yes.
With Jeff Koinange.
Yes.
To talk about how they want to change this country.
Yes.
What did he do? He got into a squabble with Raymond Omolo,
yes,
who was not in the studio.
Yes.
And I was so disappointed. You look at SIFUNA on Fixing the Nation in the morning. He's asked, what do you want to do?
Yes.
SIFUNA says that he's not into shiny things. Number two, he opens the Constitution and talks about constitutionalism, the preamble. He's talking about people, freedom. I mean, SIFUNA was in Kakamega, flew to Kisumu, went to Kakamega, came back to Nairobi, went and slept on his bed. Nobody attacked him. Okay? We were in Kitengela, even though tear gas was thrown, one person unfortunately died. I mean, we can talk in this studio and talk about Ruto.
Yes.
Go back home. Instead of SIFUNA is being asked, what are you going to do for Kenyans? He's opening the first page of the Constitution and talking about, in my head, I'm like, this is a student of Orengo who does nothing but talks about the Constitution every day. Look, this guy called Orengo, who is the patron of the SIFUNA movement, for lack of a better word, has nothing in CIA. As a matter of fact, Joaquin, before you jump into it, because I know you are agitated.
But
I'm not agitated.
I not finished.
Yes, you're not finished. And I'm going.
This is a very good round. We are coming back.
Yes, and he talked about. I was like, you have the opportunity to talk about what you want to do in education. What do you want to do in health? What do you want to do with in every facet of this economy? And you are talking about you are not into shining things. Then you open a book of the Constitution and talk about the preamble.
You see,
I was shocked. But no.
You see, you need to be very understanding in this case.
Can he finish and then you come
then
back?
You can come
I'm just saying that as a Kenyan, I was very disappointed because they couldn't articulate. And he joined Matiang'i, who is saying nothing, Munyoro, who is saying nothing, Kalonzo, who is saying nothing, Eugene Wamala, who is saying nothing. All of them are saying nothing.
Now that disappointment is what I was coming to, Jagero, because I was trying to tell you that when it comes to the conversation about an agenda, it is so hard. United Opposition have failed at it. They can't even start it. Now, whereas there was new hope and someone could feel like, okay, now let us hear what the young ones have to say about this. It was rather unfortunate again, because EDWIN SIFUNA again, on realization that you cannot, he actually admitted it himself and said, it is not about the stadium. It is not about Shah. It is not about, meaning he is admitting that, look here, President Ruto has actually done all these things. And that's why I'm saying then it's not about them. So where has he run to for refuge? He says now it's about the software. It's about the preamble of the Constitution. It's about morality. So it makes the person who wants to follow him ask himself, wait a minute. So when it's about constitutionalism, wouldn't it then be better for you to be the president of the Law Society of Kenya? Or wouldn't it be better then for you to be the Chief Justice? And if it's about morality, haven't we left that question to pastors outside there? Are you running for president so that you can be able to become a pastor, or so that you can be able to become chair of the Law Society of Kenya? Now that becomes the cornerstone of the problem, because in reality,
I'm about to go
in reality, as I finish,
I'm about to.
In reality, as I finish, Jagero, Kenyans have moved on from the politics of the census of tribes. That is one. Two, Kenyans have moved on from the politics of us versus them. They are not buying that bullshit. Kenyans are buying an agenda. They are buying a plan. They are buying a strategy. Anything away from that will not give you votes. That's why